from Baltimore. It's my hometown. It was a good place to grow up as far as I was concerned. I thought it was great. I mean, there have been times when things have been problematic.
The 2015 murder total has surpassed the nation's most populated city, New York, and has more than double the murders of Washington, D.C., a city with roughly the same population.
Park Heights is where Preakness Stakes is held each year.
American Pharoah took home the trophy, the first horse in 37 years to win the Triple Crown.
Park Heights is a community that has had its share of issues. Kendall Fenwick, he's 24 years old.
He worked at night for a trucking company not too far, from where we live in Park Heights.
He has 3 children, and he's raising them by himself.
Kendall Jr. is the oldest. And then he has Chloe, his daughter, and then King, his 3rd child. He would drop them off to us in the evening and come back and get them in the mornings. So he had family support.
Kendall is someone who definitely cares about his community. Someone who wants to make a difference, not only for his children, but for other children in the community.
24 years old, what he has done is unreal. My neighbors, he was taking them to the doctor's appointments, he was taking them to the hospital, he was taking them grocery shopping, and I'm saying to myself, how did he have all this time? But he did it.
Kendall is someone who wants to make sure that the crime issues are taken care of. Someone who wants to make sure that the drug issues are taken care of. Someone who wants to protect his family.
Kendall had the opportunity to get this house, and it was a rehab. He was working on that house for his children. He would have the birthday parties around there for them. And the last birthday party that he had, it was for Chloe. And everybody came to the party. We always stay overtime.
And he started putting the fence up.
It is a fence, and it's for protection. It's to try to stop drug dealers from coming on his property.
There was drug dealers on the corner that was trying to recruit my son. They couldn't get him. They couldn't get him.
This is the space for his kids, and he wants them to be safe.
To go to a meeting, so I asked Kendall to keep the children, my 2 granddaughters and his son Kendall, and I asked them to watch them until I came back from the meeting. And he said, "Ma, I got them." And so I went to the meeting, and while I was in the meeting, I got a phone call, and his friend told me that something happened. I was like maybe 1.5 miles away from the house, 2 miles away from the house. So I got to the house, and Kendall was already gone. The ambulance had already picked him up.
Police say around 6:30 Monday evening, Fenwick went outside to get something out of his car and met a hail of bullets.
Kendall Fenwick is shot. And it is a situation that rocks the city. Because here is somebody who is trying to do something to make his neighborhood, his community of Park Heights better. And he gets shot. And he dies.
It's Baltimore's 295th homicide this year, but this is much more than just a number.
What it appears is that he actually ran in a different direction because as he was being fired upon, he knew that there were children in the house. And he wanted to protect his children is what we believe. And again, that's what makes this even more egregious.
The police officer didn't even know there was kids in the house. And I said, "Where are the kids?" And he looked at me like, and then the kids heard my voice and they said, "Pop, and they all ran up to me.
The children hid in this closet.
In this closet.
When they heard gunfire out there. And they all went in this closet and called my phone and was telling me, what had happened.
They're young, so of course they don't really understand, but whenever they ask questions, we give them honest answers. especially his 4-year-old. You give them honest answers. That's all you can do.
That's the hardest part for me. Just knowing that my grandchildren don't have their father. For my youngest grandchild, he doesn't even know his father. And I show him the pictures. That's all he has, is the pictures of his father. And I cry for them. I'm not crying for myself. I cry for my grandchildren. That's the hardest part, because I can get over mine, but it seemed like I can't get over theirs. He was such a good father. I couldn't go to work. I had to help my family because they were falling. I couldn't let them fall.
His family hopes people will come forward with information to identify the shooter.
Kendall Fenwick's aunt says in order for the violence to stop, for there to be change, the citizens have to step up. The people of the city have to become involved in the city. The police and the politicians can't do it on their own.
When he was murdered, when he was shot, that same night, his cousins, his female cousins, and it was about 4 of them, they went out, made posters, and was walking up and down Park Heights Avenue talking about justice for Kendall that same exact night, right? You know, they were upset. They wasn't trying to have it. You know, you just took my cousin.
Hopefully it won't be another Kendall Fenwick. So when you sit home in your house and you just watch the news, don't just watch the news. Say something, do something, because it could be you. And that's, we're just asking for somebody to speak up, say something.
They were right there in the front, you know, and they just kept on and kept on.
Police are still looking for his killer. The family is pleading for someone to come forward with information, or for the killer himself to finally do the right thing.
To whoever did this, only thing I can say to you is, you're somebody's child. You're somebody's father, uncles, brother. Put yourself in our shoes. Do the right thing. Turn yourself in.
There's nothing that this police department won't do to solve this case.
The murder of 24-year-old Kendall Fenwick. Friends and neighbors are in shock. Friends have no idea who would do this to him.
He was really a family-oriented guy. You know, like, I never seen nobody coming trying to run him down or hurt him or anything. So when I get the phone call that he got killed, I'm hoping it was a mistake.
They describe Fenwick as one of the good guys, working to eliminate the drug problem in the area, building a fence in his yard to keep the criminals out.
But you see a lot of times the drug dealers will use the vacant buildings to sell drugs out of.
Kendall's Aunt Veronica believes he was killed because of his actions to stop drug dealers in his neighborhood. He built a fence around his yard to keep them out and would ask them to leave the steps by the sidewalk to his home.
Police officers think that it is something dealing with drug dealers being upset with him and deciding to do something to harm him, for him trying to protect his family, or him telling drug dealers to stay away from his property and to try to make sure that they don't come anywhere near his home.
Police spent Tuesday morning canvassing the neighborhood, talking to people and looking for clues, and they promised to track down whoever pulled the trigger.
There's nothing that this police department won't do to solve this case. There's nothing that our federal partners won't do to solve this case. We need the community. We always need the community. We need to find this person.
Police are continuing to investigate the murder of Kendall Fenwick. They also began an investigation involving a home invasion, and that was on November 12th of 2015. The suspect pulls a gun and points the gun at the head of the victim. And that is information that was given to police. Supposedly, this suspect was looking for someone who may have told on him in terms of the other investigations. As police continue their investigation. The suspect is arrested and is taken into custody. And of course, that's when police, as they begin questioning the suspect, they're finding out more about different things that are going on.
We talk all the time about the small number of bad guys out there who are responsible for a disproportionate amount of our violence. And it's certainly no truer when we talk about a young man like Devontae Brim.
Devontae is someone who, even at a young age, had some criminal history. He's the person that's arrested dealing with that home invasion. And police are trying to find out more about not only the home invasion, but then any other activity that Devontae Brim may have been involved in. Prior to the murder, just days before the murder, there was a situation that happened at Devontae Brim's grandmother's house. Shots were fired at the house. Devontae and some other people supposedly were on the porch when these shots were fired. Devontae, according to police, had a weapon and may have fired back. Police believe that it is the same weapon that was used in the murder of Kendall Fenwick. Devontae believed that there were people in the neighborhood who came and shot up his grandmother's house. And out of retaliation, he was going after and trying to get them. Apparently, Brim may have thought that one of the people that was shooting at his grandmother's house was the person that was down the street who had come outside. All Devontae could see was a silhouette, and then he fired and he shot and killed Kendall Fenwick. It may have been a situation of mistaken identity. Eventually, he is charged in the murder of Kendall Fenwick. The mood was somber. People were still upset. Kendall Fenwick's family still grieving.
Every day I get up, go to work. My wife get up every day, go to court.
We went to the courthouse each and every time that young man had a court hearing. My sister-in-law, Veronica, she was my rock because she stayed with me. And if she wasn't there for me, I don't know if I would have been able to do it. But she stayed the whole time.
Devontae Brim is charged with first and second degree murder. His defense attorney, Robert Cohen, told the jury the state's case is built on a foundation of jealousy, fears, and lies. Brim says that he didn't do anything. He says that he didn't shoot anyone. He admits to being at his grandmother's house when that place was shot up. He also admits to being in the area when Fenwick was shot and killed. But again, he talked about not having a weapon at the time. Brim did not take the witness stand in his own defense. Jurors got to watch and hear his videotaped interview with police. Brim claiming throughout his statement, "I'm telling you the truth. I'm not lying about anything."
There's always things running through my mind where this person is going to get off.
Kendall Fenwick was shot outside his Park Heights home November 9th, 2015. Police believe he was trying to keep drug dealers off his property by building a fence, but prosecutors believe his death may have been a case of mistaken identity.
Brim is charged with the first-degree murder of Kendall Fenwick. Prosecutors believe Brim sought revenge on others who may have been involved in a shooting at his grandmother's home days before Fenwick's killing.
This was kind of a case where there had been a lot of investigation, that it seemed like all the information was there, but because you're not in the jury room, you don't know exactly what they saw or what they determined.
The jury acquitted Brim of first-degree murder, but was deadlocked on the second-degree murder charges.
When the jury did not decide that this was first-degree murder, I think there was some shock. When the jury deadlocked on all of the other charges, I think there was even more so. The judge had no other choice but to declare it a mistrial.
How and why is this happening like this for these children like this? Nobody would have thought that this little baby was gonna grow up and then he's gonna be wielding a gun to kill somebody, you know, and just mess up a whole family.
The state's attorney's office says it intends to retry Brim. State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby says today's outcome will not stop us in our unyielding pursuit of justice on behalf of Kendall Fenwick and his loved ones. A new trial is scheduled for November 13th. Brim remains in custody.
Started really coming together.
Family, friends, neighbors, police, and politicians helped finish his fence a week after his death.
My son wanted to put the fence up to keep them from cutting through here because this side was a drug dealer territory and that side was a drug dealer territory.
I have seen people come together for rallies. I've seen people come together for vigils. Building a fence, that was very different because at that point, it seemed like everyone wanted to say, look, this is wrong. We want to make sure that we take part in making sure that we do something to try to make it right, to try to help with this family, to try to make sure that they know that we care.
So what we're saying is that even though Kendall may not physically be here, he's still here with us.
His death will not go in vain.
There's an unfinished life, and to do this today, I think hopefully it sets the tone going forward that we just can't accept violence and the taking of such an innocent, productive life.
The blocks was full of people. The streets were shut down. I mean, you would think it was somebody famous coming to an event or something like that, but they was coming to his aid. They was coming to finish his fence.
Attorneys appeal to try to get the remaining charges dropped. The appeals court denies that appeal, and eventually Devontae Brim pleads guilty to second-degree murder and other charges. He ends up with 65 years in prison. 50 of those years involve the murder of Kendall Fenwick.
People say, do you forgive him? No, I don't. 65 years, his daughter get a chance to hug him after 65 years. I never get a chance to hug my son again.
Kendall was always there to protect his children from whatever was going on, you know. So that's the hardest part of this whole situation, that they don't have their father anymore. You know, and I look at them, I look at his oldest son, and he's 13 right now. And I'm like, what kind of person would he be if his father was here? You know, where would they be if their father was here to get that from their father? So the pain is just still in there. It's not going away. You just learn how to deal with